At 6:01 a.m., a tow truck eased into my driveway and started lifting my late wife's wheelchair van, while the HOA president in a traffic cone blazer pressed a $600 citation into my chest and said, "Read the covenants to Shaw then at 6:05 a.m. My side yard breaker was cut, and the insulin in my kitchen began to warm, and I remember thinking in that hollow quiet you get before coffee, that I wasn't going to win this by being reasonable. I was going to have to take the whole board down to get my home back. My name is Evan Shaw. I live in Pinecrest Landing in Stonebridge, Arizona, a place with flagstone mailboxes, tidy desert landscaping, saguaros that pose like they're in old postcards, and a handbook of rules thick enough to stop a bullet. I'm a network tech who talks to routers more than people. I keep the van because the seatbelt still smells like my wife's lavender hand lotion. And on Sundays, I carry groceries for my neighbor. Delgado and we trade updates on which stray cat thinks it owns the block. Paige Caraway showed up at exactly 6:00 a.m., knuckles like a gavel phone out. Snapping photos before I even said good mornings, her section. 7.4.1. Uniform aesthetics. You have unapproved planters and a non-compliant vehicle in view, she said, with that smile folks wear when they like delivering bad news. That non-compliant vehicle is my wife's accessible van. I said she passed last spring. I'm keeping it. Then keep it out of sight. "Mr. Shaw," she said, and waved at the street like she was directing traffic. The tow truck idled. The orange beacon washed my living room in cheap nightclub light. The driver reached for the hook. "Talk to your board man," he shrugged. And yeah, that happened. I pulled the Bylaws binder, found section 3. 2. Reasonable accommodation highlighted it. Sent a polite email asking for a variance for the van and the rosemary planters my wife started. Request denied, remove items. Within 72 hours, further non-compliance escalates came back from board@pinecrestlanding.org. Mail to board@pinecrestlanding.org 11 minutes later, and at 6:07, an orange tag was zip-tied to the mirror that said tow, authorized. So I opened a folder called Pinecrest Evidence and dragged in ring clips like I was feeding a furnace. The hits came steady. A water shutoff notice taped to my door for delinquent dues and violations, totaling $1,284,005 and misses. Delgado fined $150 for a wind chime she's had for 10 years. The Nguyen's got a letter threatening to remove their porch flag without notice, and a guy named Derek Mullins started circling the cul-de-sac with a body cam and a tape measure narrating my fence height like he was calling a ball game. You know what I mean? The kind of man who loves a clipboard because it makes him tall. When I asked for the board minutes that supposedly changed driveway visibility and decor rules, Paige sent a PDF that looked like a high schooler's first resume. Sunday, 3:00 p.m., meeting, even though the clubhouse is closed Sundays. 2 attendees, Paige and her friend Renee, unanimous vote to tighten aesthetics. The header logo belonged to the old management company. The font switched mid-paragraph. The file timestamp was 2 minutes before my denial email. I wasn't reading minutes. I was reading a forgery. Someone got lazy with. So I wrote, Meridian Property Group, our manager. "Hi Shelby, quick confirmation. Any amendment on driveway visibility or porch decor?" And at 4:16 p.m. Shelby Park replied, "Our records. No amendment has been filed or approved. Any changes require posted notice and an open meeting Let us know if we can assist. And I sat there with that sentence. Like you sit with a diagnosis, it hurts. But at least now you know what you're fighting. A coworker introduced me to a tenant rights attorney named Camila Ortiz. Voice soft and razor sharp. First document, everything don't shout, build the file, she said. Second, we're going to make them say no on camera. She sent a records demand and a reasonable accommodation request template, and told me we could call a special owners meeting if we collected signatures from 25% of the neighborhood. So I printed forms and walked the block. People averted their eyes, because Paige had plastered a clubhouse flyer titled, "Is Evan Shaw Dangerous?" with my Thanksgiving photo. Cropped so it looked like I was waving a carving knife at the camera. But scared or not, they signed some whispered, "We're with you." We just can't be seen, and by Sunday night, I had 38%. Meanwhile, I gathered proof like a magpie ring clip at 6:01 a.m. Shows the tow truck's amber lights strobing my driveway. 5 a.m. shows gloved hands popping my breaker panel. Shows Derek tucking that orange tag a teen down the block named Noah sent me a clip from the print shop where he works with Paige on speaker bragging. We can pass anything with 2 signatures. The laser printer hum in the background like a confession booth. Then he airdropped a Wi-Fi print log from the night my smear flyers appeared. SSID PCL HOA printer. 37 pages spool user Picaraway, and Camila replied to my forward with a single word. Beautiful, like a surgeon seeing a clean X-ray. Paige did not take my quiet paper snowball well. She added a Keep Pinecrest. Beautiful, no junk vehicles sign in my gravel, and another warning for unapproved decor that literally listed bobby pins. Which is funny, if you're not living it. Then she started reply. All on every email with phrases like hostile actors and agitators, like she was defending an embassy. But the twist came when Meridian's files landed in my inbox, and there it was, in plain black text. No amendment exists, no notice posted, no quorum met. And for the first time, I could feel the ground tilt under her heels instead of mine, because we weren't arguing taste anymore. We were talking about Thursday, 7:00 p.m. We filled the clubhouse fluorescent lights that make everyone seasick. Folding chairs, a local reporter in the back with a spiral notebook. Officers Collins and Price against the wall. With that patient look cops get when they've heard every story twice. Paige took the mic like a game show host. "Thank you for coming," she said. "We have endured attacks on our peaceful community by a non-compliant homeowner who does not respect standards. Gavel bang." Then she tried to skip questions. So I stood and walked to the mic with a manila folder and a voice that surprised me by staying calm. "Van Shaw, 147. Juniper Loop," I said. "I'm going to show you a timeline and ask for one thing. Truth on the record." I airplayed the ring timeline, the tow truck boots crunching gravel, the gloved hands at my breaker. And I said, "That's not enforcement. That's tampering with utilities." The room murmured like wind through dry grass. Then I put the Sunday minutes next to Shelby's email and let the wrong logo and mismatched fonts embarrass themselves. Camila raised her hand from the aisle. Under Section 5.1. 2 signatures is not a quorum. Any amendment requires posted notice and an open meeting. The property manager confirms none exists, and I slid the smear flyer under the document camera, zoomed the little tracking number, and held up Noah's log. DPCL HOA printer. Spool user. Caraway. Paige laughed with all teeth, and no humor, lunged for the projector, and yanked the power. The room blinked into darkness. A toddler cried. Lights came back, and Delgado's walker sat sideways. Paige shoved past the table to leave. Collins stepped forward without touching her. Step back. We're past a violation. We're at evidence, he said. And Renee, who had always looked like she'd been drafted into being Paige's friend, stood with her hands shaking. I motioned to remove President Caraway from the board for cause, effective immediately. Someone seconded, then another. A field of hands rose like the desert after rain, and the handcuffs clicked, the way a door locks from the right side, soft and final. This isn't over. Paige spat, as Collins guided her out. You poked the wrong woman. Maybe I said. Or maybe I finally met the right one. The cruiser door closed, the neon blazer folded in the window, and the orange toe tag felt light in my palm. No balloons, no cake, just a house that finally felt like mine. And if you've ever lost your home while living in it, you know how holy that is. After the neighborhood got quiet in a way that wasn't scared anymore, the body cam vanished. Now Delgado brought empanadas and apologized for being afraid to check her mail. Noah showed his civics teacher the meeting video. Meridian suspended enforcement pending an audit. The reporter ran a story that made me sound braver than I felt, and the comments lit up like fireworks. Some folks swear HOAs are the only thing standing between us and chaos. Others say they're how petty tyrants get their pilot wings. Truth lives. Somewhere in the boring middle rules aren't evil. The people who weaponize them are. And yeah, that happened. So tell me where you stand. Are HOAs protecting neighborhoods or protecting people who love power? More Than Neighbors was taking her out in cuffs. The right call. Or did the community go too far? Have you seen a rule turned into a weapon on your street? Drop your city in the comments. Argue with me. Tell your story. And if you believe decency doesn't need a clipboard, then like this. More folks find it and weigh in, you know what I mean.